our meeting, Mr. Bill's going to give us a little weather brief on Hurricane Michael.
Actually, Director Jones
is going to do it. You're the one that spoke to me.
Yeah, he spoke to them this morning. More up to date than I am.
Well, yeah, I spoke to National Weather Service this morning about Meriwether County. So as it stands, Hurricane Michael is now a high Category 4. I don't know if y'all know what the wind speeds are as far as that goes, but you get to 156 to Category 5. So it's also shifted a little to the north, which is going to affect us a little bit more. Our 2 to 3 inches of rain has now gone 3 to 5 inches, and that increases in the southeastern part of the county. Wind speeds sustained, you're looking at anywhere between 25 to 35. That's a little bit increased. The biggest thing is the gusts have gone from like a 30 to 45 mile an hour, and could be actually higher depending on how far inland Michael goes before it starts breaking apart. I intend to probably be up most of the night, just kind of keeping an eye on it. And this one bothers me a little bit because in the past, you know, we've been kind of in the track of something and we did good. So this one, now we're very much in the gray area, and you know, it could shift. But as far as Meriwether County goes, like I said, so far we're going to get a whole lot of rain. When I say a whole lot, like I said, 3 to 5 inches. And then the wind is the most critical thing, especially during the night.
This is the area that we're stopping south. Yesterday it was closer down to the county line, but it's pushed up further now. Wind and rain. It's almost half the county diagonal there.
We're not going to know really the full gist of it until probably later on this afternoon. But as far as timeline goes, we should start seeing some moderate rain this afternoon, probably around the 3 o'clock area. That'll intensify after dark, and then as they say, it should be pushing out between 6 and 8 in the morning, tomorrow morning, as far as our area goes. Now, of course, Metro Atlanta, that's another situation. So if you're traveling to Atlanta tomorrow, I would maybe postpone that. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
I know we have some roads that are more problematic of flooding than others in the county. Have we kind of identified, and if so, do we have things in place to barricade or anything like that? Because sometimes we do have roads that do a little bit more damage than others.
We already know what road on the south end we have subject to flood, so we already have barricades set aside out there. And we also have 4 3-man crews that's going to be here at the shop all night. We'll start fire at 12 o'clock, another crew coming. So that's all that exactly what's going to happen.
Thank you.
Tyrell, there's issues down there in the area. Y'all need additional help, just call me.
Okay.
We've been looking at it for a couple days, but like I said, we haven't had any really good data until truly this morning. And like I said, that data will hopefully improve. We have another webinar at 12:30 this afternoon. As soon as we're done here, I'll update y'all email. Is everybody getting my emails?
Yes.
And then of course I'm putting it up on Facebook as well. I'm sending out active 911s to our public safety.
Speak to the wind, how the wind speed affects whether I mean out of the road.
Right. What he's saying is, as far as wind gusts and sustained winds, we're really concerned about the wind gusts because a strong wind gust is going to put our responders at danger. And at some point, if they get to a certain level, that's usually between 55 to 70 miles an hour, we want to pull them in because they're not going to do anybody any good if they're hurt, and certainly we want to be able to protect them as well. Not only our responders, of course, but I mean, well, Public Works is our responders as well. So, and they play a huge role in not only during the storm, but after the storm. So we're watching it, and we'll keep you all up to date. Any other questions? Okay.
Thank you, Brent.
Yes.
Oh, Brent,
across, we've got a shelter already set in Bibb County Recreation Area, and it was set up last night at 6 o'clock. Now, if we get some folks with some damage, the protocol for this type of situation is to send them to the closest shelter. If we don't have a shelter reasonable distance, then that's when I step in and start doing some phone calling and get some permission to put them in a hotel. But the problem that's going to be is I'll be checking through the day-to-day to see how many hotel rooms we really have available. There's no use in getting a credit card if I can't find a hotel room. So that would be Bill and Brent's call if we wanted to set up a shelter. If we had that many damaged houses, we do have some assets in the range to set that shelter up with. We just have to pick a building and jump at it.
Thank y'all for those comments. If we would, let's go ahead and get started. Please rise. And I would ask you to bow with me. Lord, we just stand in awe of your creation. And Father, as we listen to all these results coming out of Florida, we know you're still in charge. Father, we just look to you to guide us and direct us in our lives here in the next few hours, next few days. And Lord, even in this meeting, we just ask you to take charge, Lord, and give us the wisdom that is necessary to make those decisions that would be becoming to this people in this county. In Christ Jesus' name, Lord, we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Our pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. It's time to adopt our agenda, and under new business, item 4 I've listed as close Harmony Church Road for the 20th. Let's go, the hours I think are 2 to 4 there. And the 5th item I have here is a continuation of our agent with the University of Georgia.
Extension service.
Extension service.
This is budget as well. And then, Mr. Chairman, I got one other that was in my packet. This is a request, approval of an invoice for that, to replace that bus that was hit by the tree. We had a 20% cost on that too, so we'll put that on the agenda.
Number 6.
That'll be number 6, yes. Okay, having heard these changes, you want me to continue? Okay. At this time, do I hear the motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? We also have the minutes here in front of us, and that's for September the 25th at our regular meeting at 6 p.m. Do I hear a motion those being accepted as presented? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? So passes. I don't think I had, I do, Mayor Glover. I didn't think I had a municipality representative back there. Any comments?
Well, today, I guess depending on the weather, we were told late last night that it will be canceled. We will go to be presented our CDBG grant for $500,000+ to do some infrastructure work with that. So hopefully we'll still be able to get that to them.
Okay, and then there's no representation from any other municipalities out there that I see at this time. And I don't see any constitutional officers there. So now I'm up to department heads. Skipper?
At this time, Chairman.
Mr. Brand, I bet you're covered. Okay. Tyrell? Okay. Sean?
I just want to let everybody know we had a great weekend at Cotton Picking Fair. We done 24 adoptions. Cotton Picking Fair, and they all seem to be real good homes. Also want to let everybody know about our fall festival on the 20th next Saturday. We're going to have lots of games, sack races, raffles. We've got lots of appliances we're giving away. Good food. CJ's going to do the cooking, the barbecue, and everything out there. So everybody come on and see us and spend the day with us.
Do we have a time on that speaker coming from home?
He has not given me an exact time yet, but he was originally scheduled to speak about 1 o'clock. We got the professor from Auburn University going to come out and do some speaking on the importance of vaccines, spaying and neutering, and taking care of the animals, making sure they get and stuff. We've got a couple other speakers that's going to be there. We're going to have live music, lots of stuff, and it all starts at 12 o'clock on Saturday.
If you narrow it down to his time, he's gonna be there. I have a lot to do that day.
Then I'll try to make rain today to find out. Try to call him yesterday. I'll call him today to find out how much.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it, Sean. Hey, Alphonse.
Morning.
Okay. Mr. Ron? Okay. Miss Jane?
Yes, sir, I do.
Sure.
I just wanted to give y'all the final report for Keep Maryland Commutable, and it turned out to be a great event. Here's some pictures y'all can pass around. Some of them are already seen. We had a great turnout. We had about 81 people working on teams, and they picked up about 370 bags of trash, just those 81 people. I will say that we had more containers this year than we've had in the past, mainly because Crawford Grayson provided 3 that we have not had in the past. So we really appreciate them stepping up and doing that. They placed theirs in we met Monday morning, our committee met Monday morning, and I presented awards for the 3 winners were the City of Greenville. She had a small team, but they picked up a total with their regular team and their community service workers. They picked up about 74 bags of trash. 6 people for community service. City of Luthersville, they had a great turnout. They were just everywhere. They were presented an award. They had about 27 people out working all day and picked up 34 bags of trash. So, all those pictures are from throughout the county of what was going on. And City of Manchester was the winner. I've got to brag on Manchester. They were not here Monday morning, but I was hoping they would be here today because I have a flag and I'm pretty proud of it, so I guess I'll take to it. But they were very organized over there, and they counted every little piece of garbage that came in. They ended up, he gave credit to the whole community of Manchester, the city of Manchester. He said everybody was there. They had about 78 bags of trash that was picked up. And I'm counting, I'm not talking about sofas and all the mattresses. We had 4 mattresses. But the amount of stuff that was brought was much less than it's been in the past. So I feel like we're making a difference. We're making progress. Obviously, they cleaned out their house over the last 3.5 years, and they don't have much left to bring because the containers were all full. I will say they were full, but they were not overflowing like that.
And I think if we get those satellite areas we've been talking about for about 15 years, then it'll cut down that a lot here and there.
I got to give credit
We
to
do it, buddy.
Public Works. Darren and his crew was just magnificent. They were wonderful to work with, and I appreciate them. And I'm going to do something special for them. I haven't got that done yet, but I will because I want to thank you, Tyrell, for always being so pleasant about it. Of course, the container companies, this year, they just really came through. We didn't have any misplaced. We put Greenville's at Public Works, and Mayor Lovis said that the most complaints she got was they didn't have any containers downtown Greenville. They didn't know where they were. Tyrell had put a sign up there, 2 signs, I think, saying containers moved to Public Works, and somebody stole the sign. So, you got that kind of thing. Yeah. But they filled theirs up anyway. And you saw a picture in there of 2 ladies, and I was going to send them, get on the screen, and I apologize, I just ran out of time. 2
two ladies climbing over into the dumpster. They didn't actually step over into it, but they were reaching as far as they could. And there's a picture of them climbing up. And I said, what are you doing? And they said, we're looking for yard sales.
Somebody's jumping someone else's treasure.
And then I got a laugh about this one. I was riding through Greenville. I couldn't find the mayor or her team, but I saw some people out picking up. They didn't have on our yellow t-shirts. They had on white t-shirts, and they had white bags, and we've got different color bags. And so I stopped and I said, thank y'all for helping the city of Greenville clean up. I appreciate it so much. Are you part of the city of Greenville's team? And they said, we're probation. But I was glad I took their picture. As I was riding around, I went on over to where the tires were being picked up. And this is another thing. We only picked up, according to around 300 tires this year. You know, last year was over 1,000. This year we have 300. So, you know, there's a difference right there. Did they just not do it, or have we picked them all up? I know there's still some out there. But there were two guys, and they were inmates that were helping. So I took their picture, and they posted. They said, you going to put our picture in the paper? Yeah. They wanted it in there. And I wanted to say to them, you probably have already been in there. Everybody was having a good time. And I appreciate everything. The cutest group, and there was a picture of the little Cub Scouts working. I want to get more of those type of groups. But this year, the schools didn't have a team for some reason, I don't know why. But that little Cub Scout group, they just were having the biggest time. They enjoyed it and said they did it. So we're proud of that. But I want to, and I told the committee, I said, you know, we awarded the awards, and I got some certificates, but none of them are here, so I'll deliver to them. But one of the awards that I personally wanted to give was to the newspaper. Jack, you and your staff have done a marvelous job of printing everything I've said to them. I mean, we have gotten the word out in the newspaper. Now, people may not all get the newspaper to read, but I'm very honored and happy that everything I've seen over the years, not just this time, but every time, you have always been there to print what I give you. So because of that, I want to award Trio Publications with a certificate of appreciation. Come up here, Jack. You're here.
I'm supposed to make the newspaper, not be in it.
You're going to be in it, and I don't have my camera.
I don't either.
Ren, you got a camera? Anybody got a camera? I'll go get mine.
I got a phone, I got a camera.
Thank you. And I have T-shirts for, I don't know how many you need, but there's 4
I'm sure we
here.
can.
But if you need more, you can let me know. Thank you again for supporting the efforts to keep Maryland vehicles by.
I got a feeling we'll see this in the paper.
All right, look this way on 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. All right, guys.
Jack and I work together a lot. But, you know, they don't get the credit they deserve. They're always doing things for us, not charging us for it, not just us, but all of us. Community type articles. So thank you very much.
And I'd like to say I appreciate that, because we certainly hear from everybody when we get something wrong. Whenever we get something right, it's nice to hear that again.
We do have an Adopt a Road program. We have our first Adopt a Road group, which is the American Legion Post 88. I got to call them and see where they want to place their sign on the road they've adopted. But this will be placed on their road, and everybody that adopts the road will get a sign that says, proudly adopted by, and that. So I'm challenging Larry to get his veterans group to.
Yeah, they agreed to that the other night, so we'll be adopting a portion of Covered Bridge Road,
But
which we've already
It can
adopted
be
it.
anybody, any of you can adopt your road, and I want to thank you.
What's the cost on?
No cost at all.
You just gotta clean up
Well, you
4
just-
times.
You gotta clean it up 4 times a year, and keep a record to present to us. This is out here for us to document. So I
One of
just
the
want-
guys from the Post was in the store yesterday, and he wanted to know when they were gonna get their sign.
I was out yesterday, but
They're
I'm
excited.
catching up. I'll get Mr. Tyrell put up when we find out where it goes, and then we're gonna have a little ceremony there to present that. So,
Might better keep the road short, Larry, and wide enough for walkers.
Yeah.
Miss Jane, we certainly thank you for the work you do in that arena and for all the other duties you have. We thank you for that. Miss,
Since Carol's not here, you know, each one of them got our new visitor information guide.
right,
And this is hot off the press as of last Friday afternoon about 4 o'clock. So we did make it to the cotton picking fair with all of these. So, you know, it's been a lot of work putting this thing together. And so, you know, Christy Stevens is the one that did all the work on this, putting it together, getting the ads up there. So this is a big thing. You know, I probably gave out maybe 150 of these at the cotton picking fair over the weekend. So this is a pretty good product to get people here back in there.
y'all did a good job, and I know no politics were in that. I don't know how this picture got in there.
They came to me and asked me.
All right. But at the cotton picking fair, we transported about maybe a little over 100 people down to Rick's back on the weekend.
Sure.
And the kayak we had in the booth drew a lot of attention about the local land.
Great. Miss Ashley, I think you're up next.
I just want to say thank you all to everything you do for Extension. This is National 4-H Week, so hopefully y'all can enjoy some fresh berries from Fitzgerald Farms.
Appreciate
The
that.
first batch they picked, they were called fall pickings. This week we celebrated, actually we started our celebration last week because the public schools are out of school this week, but we had our monthly club meetings last week, and we had green out days at each one of the schools. If you saw me around town, you probably definitely saw me. I was in green from head to toe, and a lot of the kids participated in that as well. I took a group of 4-H'ers yesterday to the Georgia National Fair, and so we got to go and see the different 4-H exhibits from around the state. My favorite part is the new addition to the Georgia National Fair, the baby born barn.
That was
We
neat.
got to see what
That was neat.
it is neat, and those kids, I told them, I said, all right, you're gonna see things that you've never seen before. Just don't holler, don't run, and they were just glued to it. We didn't actually get to see a calf being born, because we would have waited for about an hour. She was definitely in labor while we were in there. So we waited, we went and rode a bunch of rides, and then came back, and we got to see Cotton and Candy that was born. So it's been a great month in Meriwether County 4-H. At the end of the month, we're having a decorating contest, a pumpkin decorating contest. Last year, we probably had 100 pumpkins turned in for the pumpkin decorating contest, but each school will have a chance to bring pumpkins, and we'll display the school pumpkins at their schools. But our homeschool group, which has grown into a very large club, they'll bring their pumpkins to the extension office, and we'll display them at the front. But I'll send an email out so y'all can come by and see some of the decorated pumpkins, or if you're close by one of the elementary schools, you can stop by and see some of their pumpkins. But thank you for everything that you do, and glad to be here.
Thank you.
And our new agent is still working out great. He's doing a fabulous job. So if you need anything from our ad agent, just let us know.
Appreciate that. Good job you do, Miss Ashley. Anytime you want to speak to us, just bring fruit. Jokingly. Let's move on here. We're up to our public hearings. We have none for today. Under unfinished business, well, that's a little bit of a twist in terms, okay. Appointment to DFAX District 4, looks like it's the next item on our agenda.
And this has been the hardest appointment that I have tried to find somebody. So at this point, I'm going to make a motion that I put myself on the board until we can find somebody, because business needs to go forward. So I'll find time in my busy schedule to sit on another board.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there a discussion on this appointment? All those in favor, please let it be known by the hands. All right. Brian, you're on. Appointment to the Airport Authority District 1, I think that's yours, Ms. Shirley.
Yes, Mike Watson is currently on the board. I did get a chance to finally talk to him. He definitely would like to continue to be on the board, so I make a motion that he stays on the board.
And I'll second. Any discussion of this appointment? If none, all those in favor? Mike's on. Under new business, the appointment to Planning Commission District 2. That's yours,
At this
Mayor.
time, I would like to table, I have talked with someone, but I have not gotten confirmation yet.
I'll go second.
Tabled and second. All in favor? Next item here is our proclamation, which is attached to the back, I think. Recognizing the month of October, okay? It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I'll just go ahead and read it from the very top. Proclamation. Recognizing the month of October as Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Whereas every year too many Americans are touched by the pain and hardship caused by breast cancer, and whereas breast cancer is the second most common form of cancer found in women in the United States, and it is the leading cause of cancer death from women, with 1 in 8 women diagnosed with breast cancer in their lifetime. And whereas more than 2,500 men will likely be diagnosed with some form of breast cancer in 2018, but thanks to early detection and improved treatment options, deaths from breast cancer have decreased significantly in the last decade. And whereas many people have endured the heartbreak of losing someone to breast cancer, and it's the memories of those loved ones that drive us to find a cure, and whereas all women are encouraged to talk to their health providers about mammograms and other methods of early detection, as well as their risk of developing breast cancer and what can be done to reduce the risk. And whereas during the month of October, we remember those lost to this terrible disease and stand strong for those currently facing a breast cancer diagnosis. And we strengthen our resolve to do our part in supporting those affected. And whereas by raising awareness of breast cancer and supporting research, prevention, and early detection, we will move closer to eradicating the disease. Now therefore, be it proclaimed by the Meriwether County Board of Commissioners that October is designated as Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and we urge all Meriwether County residents to spread awareness of this disease, provide support for those affected by this illness, and educate others on its prevention and early detection. This 10th day of October, 2018. And certainly we understand the fight against cancer. Do we need to go? All you need is signatures on that. Okay, commissioners, you got that. Let's move.
Lester, let me say a little something.
Sure, go ahead.
Since we're talking about breast cancer and the effects of men and things like that too, and being medically, do each of you know when the best time to check yourselves are for any type of abnormalities in your body? When you take a shower, it's the easiest time, that's the most relaxing time. Women, check yourselves. You know your body better than anybody else. Men, check yourselves. You can palpate up here, you can check other areas too that need to be for us. And that's the best time to do it. So every day in your shower is the best time to do that, and then you know if something has changed in your body. And I'm not trying to stand out, I'm just trying to let some of you know if you don't, that's the best time of your day to actually do that. So make it part of your daily process, and you'll have an early detection if there's anything needed to be detected. Thank you, Buster.
Thank you for that, Brian. Yes, Ms. Jane, you
I
got
just want to say, I'm a 25-year breast cancer survivor. That's how I found mine. And I also had a male friend at the same time who had surgery for breast cancer. So it does happen right where it is. Just have to say I survived.
We are too. And men think that, oh, that's just I pulled a muscle, I picked up something, I did something. That's not true. If it's something that's not quite right, go get it checked. Don't think you're above it because you're not.
I lost a male friend to breast cancer several years ago. It was the first case I'd ever even heard of with a man.
He used to be the announcer on The Price is Right. Rod Rodney, he died of breast cancer.
Okay, thank y'all for those comments. It looks like our third agenda item is consider awarding the 2018 LeMig bid. Mr. Gay.
Yes, sir.
You need to read the amounts is in the record.
Into the records, okay. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, we opened bids last Friday for our LeMig project, and we also included three cities that had a series of projects that they wanted to do. We received 2 bids. We received C.W. Matthews Contracting. They placed a bid. Our LeMig portion of that bid was $1,397,921.52.
Sorry, could you repeat that one more time?
Yes, ma'am. $1,397,921.52. Okay. Now that was the county portion. Luthersville was their portion of Oak Street was come in at $281,619.40. $281,619.40. Warm Springs had a small parking area they were working on. That bid with C.W. Matthews came in at $39,635.26. Woodbury, which gave us a long series of streets, came in at $304,164.73. And that was C.W. Matthews. Piedmont Paving, Inc. came in at, for the county LeMig portion, $1,317,850.14. The Luthersville portion of their bid came in at $316,501.60. The Warm Springs project, per Piedmont's bid, came in at $21,935.32. And the Woodbury project came in at $302,723.87. There are some things that we can do to help reduce the cost of our MIG. We had spec'd it out with plant mix over the patches that we were going to do. But I think if Bill Cawthorn and I talked about it, I think if we go back and we can use the surface treatment like we've been using anyway, I think we can reduce that cost somewhat. And the reality is, we're going to pay resurface most of those roads over the next few years anyway, and we're likely going to use surface treatment, so it will not look, out of normal with that. Our recommendation, because I don't know, and I can check and see whether the first bidder would honor their bid on the Luthersville project. They were the low bid. But that was kind of in a scenario where they were coming in and they were participating all of it. Piedmont has indicated they had some ideas of how to reduce that cost, and so we're going to try to set up a meeting with them to talk about that. There may be some changes. We had looked at a total milling, but we may go back and look at some kind of soil cement base or creating that to maybe help reduce that cost and get it down to more manageable. Warm Springs, I think that came in, certainly within the budget that we had projected. Woodbury, last night I gave one of the council people a copy of their streets. And what they're really going to need to do is just determine how many dollars they've got to spend and pare those streets down. Because they gave us a list of like 32 streets, and I know they probably don't have the big dollars to pave this much. But our recommendation would be to award the bid to Piedmont Paving, Inc. at the low bid for our MIG of $1,317,850.14, and allow the county staff to negotiate with them on reducing some of the cost, and then looking at the city projects. I will go back and verify with the cities and get some official documentation from them on their acceptance of the proposed bids. And then we have one other project that I would like to look at talking with Piedmont about doing, and that is the dam over Lake Meriwether. We need to really look at that for a couple reasons. It's potholed right now, and of course that catches rain and it allows it to absorb into the dam, which isn't good for the dam. Plus we're going to try to use that as part of a ADA trail system. And so what we're looking to do on that is to do patching and then a overlay to be able to smooth that back out, and then we can paint it up for the ADA trail. And I think those dollars can be covered out of that grant, but we'd like to include those two, add that as a project. So again, our recommendation would be Piedmont Paving is a low bid for big, and allow us to be able to negotiate with the contractor to reduce cost and add another project, and then we'll get confirmation from the cities on their portion of the contract.
I didn't write down. What are the two for Lucasville?
Two for Luthersville, buddy, is $281, $619.40, and $316,501.60.
That's a lot of difference.
It is a lot. It is a lot.
But even the Warm Springs is a lot of difference. It goes down
Right.
naturally with Piedmont, but that's a lot of difference.
There is a lot of difference.
But I want to know the total difference, because like you say, Lucasville on one is a big difference, but then
Right.
on the other one in Warm Springs, that's such a difference. So your total difference, if you totaled it up, what was the difference altogether? You see where I'm coming from? All right, then I'd just like to kind of know that.
There's an $80,000 difference in an hour or two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are their,
And that's not, I mean, in reality, when you're looking at a project this big, that would concern me. There is a good bit of difference in
in the cities?
the cities. They're all based on the same specs. We ask them to go and show the locations, go out and look at it. I've got the breakdown on the bids, just have not had a chance to analyze that, but I'll be happy to, take a look at that and see if there's anything that stands out in terms of the differences.
Good, and you can explain this later, but I know some roads have a lot more potholes, a lot more, see that one in Lucasville, in comparison to other city, it's a lot of potholes, a lot of
It
cuttings.
is almost beyond pothole. It was a full depth reclamation. We
Right,
were looking at
right.
grinding it,
Right.
reworking it.
So it entails a lot more
It
than
tells a
normal.
lot more, because it's about a mile, and our resurfacing projects, even with those patches that we were doing on those bad sections of roads, came in at 107 a mile, which is excellent, because 4 years ago, you guys, well, not you guys, but the county at that time paid $180 for $1,000 a mile for the plant ditch, and we've been as low as 95. And we're at 107 this year. And I'm going to go back and analyze and take out those patches. Because those patches, we had several patches that we were doing on a couple of roads that just absolutely destroyed. So don't even patches before we go full depth of those.
Well, I'm just curious why they can do ours for $80,000 cheaper, but the city is $50,000 more.
Yeah, well, and the reason for that is that ours have limited patches. And, the city of Luthersville,
It's a lot bad.
it's a total patch. It's grinding the whole road up.
But I'm talking about the two companies. This one company can do it
Yeah.
$80,000 cheaper for us, but it's $40,000 more for them, and it's the same area they looked at. That's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They,
Get that variation.
you're gonna see bids like this, on that, because each of them have different material suppliers. Each of them have, kind of calculate, different ways, that they mobilize everything. And also sometimes, it just depends on how much work they got.
Engineering.
You know, I've seen situations where companies would put a really high figure, and I'm not saying these guys did that because they're fairly close, but I've seen a very high figure, because it's like, well, we don't really need the work, we got it, but,
It's about a
it don't-
$64,000 difference all total between the two companies.
is,
64,000.
yeah, and that's on a $1.5 million project.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty close when you do it all together, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one reason
When do we anticipate machinery rolling?
I want them to get started right away, and I tell you the things that I'd like to see us do, I want to fix those roads that are dangerous
You need to
out
vote
there.
this order for us to get moving.
Yes, sir, I need to, you know,
Understand?
I need to vote for that, Ken. Or I can do some more analyzation, bring it back.
We need to get moving on this.
Well, I mean,
We're running out of time.
The calendar is running, I want to get as
And
much done as we can.
they have a time limit on doing this because of the
The weather.
Right.
And so we've really missed a lot of time already, so
We have.
this is gonna actually, depending on what the weather's gonna be like, they're anticipating a rough winter and a cold
Hopefully they get
winter.
started.
So with a cold winter, they definitely can't do a certain amount of this this work when the temperature is at a certain level. So
I think it's like 55 and rising that they can do the work, so we'll certainly watch that. We're gonna meet with them and talk to them about it. And again, the roads that we're patching, we got two roads I know that are, I mean, every time we patch it, they just tear back up. We're gonna do
This
those
gun
first.
road is almost dirt.
I know, exactly. We want to do those first and get those
Yeah.
done, and we want to do the lake overlay, because that's gotta, we gotta get that done before the end of the year. And then,
Yes, Mayor.
yes,
I'm
ma'am.
trying to get in whenever you
Not
But, can we get a finalized list? I know it's been a while since we went through that. Could we
Sure.
get that, final list that we are doing for the each of the roads?
Yep, be glad to. I mean, I can tell you the roads now, and then I can get you the list. Just a moment here. There's a lot of pages that goes into,
Well, you don't have to do it right now. It's just getting out, I just like to try a record so that we'll know what we're looking at.
the public may be, very interested
Well,
in it.
and we understand. But I think what we need to do is go ahead and vote this thing right now.
Okay.
It sounds like to me the recommendation is Piedmont Paving to do the work that we've laid out here. Do I hear a motion? We go ahead?
So,
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor of Piedmont?
But I think we need to put in there with allowing the county to negotiate.
No, certainly, certainly, that's in there.
You gonna read off the list?
I will. Meadows Moon Road, Terry Creek Road, Gold Mine Road, Harmon Road, Moody Road, Dunn Road, Timber Ridge, Wallace Road, that's a patch section. Herbert Russell Road, Tramble Road, Alley Road, that's Alley Road to the east. Teeny Nelson, Mount Carmel Road, that's a patch. County Line Church Road, that's a patch over the bridge. Sullivan Mill Road, that's another huge patch that's needed. And Fleming Road, that's the road that we did back 2 or 3 years ago. We never did get it asphalted back over, so that's asphalted that. So,
Okay, let me go back. Brian, if you want to, you can amend the motion that we just made. That's fine, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I just didn't hear it, so that's why I'm add that in there.
I think we did say it earlier, but we probably didn't capture it. Yeah.
wasn't in the motion.
Do you want to read the motion?
Go ahead, Brian.
I just want to add into the motion that we allow the county to negotiate for the city.
so,
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? So passes.
thank you.
Oh, Okay, we're up to, the next item on here is the closed Harmony Church Road on the 20th of this month. I think we're going to choose the hours from 2 to 4 on them, Mr. Gates.
Yes.
There will be an air show there, and folks, let's get the word out. We don't get many of these in Meriwether County, but there will be an air show being sponsored there. And it's going to be essentially 3 days. It's going to be the 19th, the 20th, and the 21st, with the air show commencing on that Saturday, which is the 20th. So that is why we're asking it when they're flying that into that airport, or into that, the strip, goes right up to that road. So when they're coming in doing some of the aerobatics that they'll be doing, we'll certainly need that road closed for those 2 hours.
We're also going to need assistance from the sheriff's office and from public safety
Okay.
during that period of time too.
That would be included in the motion, assistance from public safety, assistance from the sheriff's office.
I'll make a motion to approve closure from 2 to 4 with the assistance of those 2
Yeah.
departments.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Gotta give you time, Jack, to get it in the paper. Okay, the next item we have here is to continue, the continuation of our agent with University of Georgia. And you mentioned on there about the extension service budget needs to be
Mr. Chairman, Bill had mentioned to me that he thought this had already been.
Y'all approved that back in the budget process, it's authorized, board authorized.
So I thought that was one of the earlier
Okay.
ones, so.
Yeah. Okay, so we still had that document and we were just looking at it, so we can take that one off.
in order to clear the paperwork, then that's, we'll say it's been completed at an earlier date. The next item is the approval for the bus replacement of the one that was wrecked down on LaGrange Street.
Yes, sir. And of course, the county has a 20% local match on that, and the balance is covered through GDOT. But our balance on that 20% is $93,0798.
Almost $10,000.
Almost $10,000, yes, sir. So we recommend, that bus was working well and, adding the additional bus. It was would have to be our newest bus that, was unfortunately wrong place at the wrong time.
What was the total replacement cost?
Well, this is 20% of it, so you'd be looking at 45.
Times 8, okay.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So, we recommend approval because it was a...
You did recommend approval?
Yes, sir.
Do I hear a motion, we approve the 930798, which is our share for the new bus?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, or is there discussion at this point? Okay, all in favor? I believe that concludes everything we had in front of us for new business. At this time, Mr. Bill, looks like you're up as the finance director.
You've got the two reports in front of you, property tax analysis. Starting next month, 2018 digest will be on here. Still collecting, tax commissioner's office is still collecting back taxes all the way back to 2009, each month. Years 9 through 16, the balance is $134,000, 2017, $133,000. There's money out there, they continue to collect. On the bank balance report, general fund $226,095, that includes the $100,000 that the board authorized us to transfer from the solid waste fund. So if you take that out, it costs $126,000. That was our margin of error, so to speak, to not have to go to the town this year, which we didn't have to. Affecting tipping fees from waste management. Actually, today, they should be getting that today. And they're going to be $170,000, which is 40 more than the same period last year. And, let me see. I put it down. Yeah. 41. Excited about that, they continue to trend up. That's good. Unless you have any questions, that's all I have.
I had a quick question here with Timmy fees. Do we know where they are as far as filling that cavity over there?
They're,
Know what percent full we are?
Their long-range projection is, it's quite a few more years, but we can go back and look at that, because I really need to go back and look at that host agreement again, since we have a chance.
I think we do.
And maybe we could ask them what stage of development they are at this time. That'd be a good question.
Would be. That's all I had. Let me see now. Mr. Bill, was that everything?
That's all.
I do have a question.
Go ahead. Commissioner
Bill,
Hines.
you presented us the budget, but in the budget, you did not have the budget for the fire department.
That's right.
So where are we at that?
I'll bring that to you. Of course, we can't do it to the night meeting this month. It's a morning meeting in November. I'll bring that to you.
Would like to see,
I was hoping that you could do it this morning, but this meeting, we just ran out of time.
that's okay. I guess my thing is
It'll be virtually identical to last year. We'll get that to you in the next meeting.
Okay, Mr. Gay, you're up.
Yes, thank you. Just a few things. Attended the airport authority meeting. Attended the Lake Bearwood meeting last night. We didn't have a quorum, but we did use the opportunity to be able to kind of fill in with Carolyn on some of the things that we had going down there, and a lot of things are working. Monday night, I had the planning commission meeting, attended that along with Ron. Been working on Splost, gonna complete that program hopefully by the end of this week, because next week I really want to get started. I think we have, Commissioner Hines has scheduled one presentation for us next week, and I'd like to get other agendas in cities and any civic clubs where we can, just talk about that as well. And Doug and I talked earlier, we'll send him some information on that as well. And then we're meeting, I think again today with our fire station. We're trying to keep an eye on where those stand. We got Lone Oak and Luthersville very, very close to being ready to open. And we got a couple more that are, fast tracking. And then we're going to get started on phase 2 of that project as well. And we're going to look at our solid waste issue and get that going. We'll get a few other things out of the way. But that's all I really have at this point.
Mr. Chair, I have a question for Mr. Gay.
Certainly, go ahead.
Mr. Gay, yesterday, I had the opportunity to be with Bill, rode on some roads, and we stopped by the fire station in Luthersville and Lone Oak. I know the sheetrock and all that was delivered last week. It was like, I think Wednesday or Thursday of last week. One of the things that was brought up was the inspection. What is such a delay on getting things inspected?
When we met last, it's been a couple of weeks ago about inspections, I think there was some miscommunication between some of them, because I called and we got an inspection that day. Before they start the sheetrock, of course, they need all the electrical, the plumbing, all of that. So I've told them, look, call ahead. I think the inspection office, I think, requires a 24-hour call ahead. But if they're going to have it ready, let's go ahead and call, get it inspected. Then they can, like Bill Cawthorn was telling me yesterday, if they'll call and get their inspection this week, they could work, all through the weekend if they needed to, putting up sheetrock. So I have told them, and we're going to be meeting with the contractor again briefly today, and I will remind them, hey, you need to call ahead, because there was a little bit of a mix-up, and I think Lone Oak kind of stood there for a little while. before it got done. And like I said, when we made the call, it was done the next day. So I think there was some confusion on that. But, they need to make that call and they need to do that, get it complete and then have it inspected. Is what they're doing.
And my only concern is, once again, communication is essence in everything that you do.
Right.
And so if there's somewhere where we missing it or they're missing it because of the time frame that we want to get work done. And the other thing, and I just want to bring to attention, I stopped by, for me, I drive right past it every day. Quite naturally, I'm stopping to look. Just want to make sure, and I think Bill did indicate that, if they're not able to start working on it today, that the way that material's in there, and if we have the high wind and the gust, we don't want any of that to get damaged. So I just want to recommend that they, cover it or something of that nature, because the doors are not open, and that's a lot of money there. And, but sometimes people just overlook stuff or forget. But once again, the sheetrock and everything has been in that location since last Wednesday. And just once again, just making sure.
Yeah, it needs to go forward. I think the last issue was both sides were waiting on each other, and they didn't. Somebody needs to take the initiative. When we were there, we took the initiative and it got done right away.
Well, I guess
Yes,
that's my
they
point.
were gonna, Bill told me they were gonna tarp the sheetrock if they didn't get it up and get it, covered. And, of course, if something happens like that, they're negligent by not doing it, we're not gonna accept the sheetrock. So it'll be back on them, but, they'll take care of it.
They owe some special also.
Have it.
Okay.
It's not work.
Okay.
The thing that failed is in the head. Or it's not work. Got all that straightened out.
Okay.
Got 11 figures in there. Prove what it messed up. And we just inspected this, I think that's what they pulled. The smoke shield didn't have it up.
Okay.
So they've got that up now. So they should be good to go. Should be damn cheap right away.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think flooring samples are coming in today. So I've told some of the staff here that can see color, they're going to need to make that selection. There's no telling what I might choose. But it's moving along well. We'll be glad when those are open for business.
I guess the thing too is open for business, but stay on budget. So that's another reason I want to see what the budget is.
Oh, right.
Because we know that they bid it much higher than what we anticipated. So we made some negotiation, but when you take longer, sometimes there's more, cost involved. So just want to make sure that we're on budget as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're looking at some things that we might be able to do to, reduce that cost. Like, for example, the surfacing in the pavement of the parking lot. We're going to, Bill and I talked to, got two bills, both of them, we all talked yesterday about that, about how we could work the parking lot. We may get some other bids on that as well. Any way we can, just to, to help save some dollars.
Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay, I'm gonna move on to the county commissioners. Commissioner Bridges.
Nothing at this time.
Commissioner Bray?
Well, I do have something I want to talk about, Meriwether County.
Yes.
Country Christmas again, as usual. I did give each of you a layout of what we're considering for the layout. But also I want to mention again, and this is for the newspaper, so he can count up to get up, to a little more advertising, that Dr. Griffin and Dr. Ruth of West Georgia has agreed to be our grand marshal for their parade. And I understand that our Commissioner Beth and, what's your name?
Let me read my text.
They have agreed to be in the parade also with go-kart.
Golf cart.
Okay,
Gotta go party.
So we do have, so far we have Greenwood already committed, and hopefully we'll have Manchester van also. And I want to mention that Family Connection, Rhonda is handling, and Dr. Patterson is handling the toys for tots. So there'll be a bin located in each of the city halls for donations. And then also, I want to mention that Beverly, our own, is the chairperson for the county Christmas tree. And so I'm going to Mr. Gay for a little funds to help for the donation. So hopefully we will be able to donate her $200 for the decoration. And that's about it. But it's very interesting to see what some of the city's themes have come up with. I know Manchester told me that they was going to try to do trains. Greenville is Bills. Beverly is the flags and ball. And then Woodbury is pimento pepper and cotton. So they coming up with, and Lolo is a cowboy. So it's very interesting to see the things that each of the cities are coming up with. So we're very much looking forward to it.
How big is the tree?
The trees are 9 feet.
Oh, that's easy.
You got your partner right there.
I'd like to see one in my attic, and now one's full of them.
So, I have several little trees that I put in my house. We're good.
Okay, moving right along. Couple of things I would like to make mention of this morning. And the balanced budget is still looming large in my mind, and I certainly thank the staff and all of you that made that possible, because it looked like it was kind of iffy there toward the end. We didn't know where to kite, we would pull it off or not, but it sounded like we did. And I think that's 2 milestones here in a row that we have done, and I think that's very good. The other thing I wanted to mention earlier, we had talked and made a motion about closing the road down at the airport. This young man who is sponsoring this, and I can't remember his last name, but his first name's Trey.
Gaboy, G-A-B-O-Y.
G-A-B-O-Y. He is 17 years old, just got his pilot's license, really getting enthused with aviation. And he is helping sponsor and put this on. And I thought that was remarkable for somebody his age to be doing that. And there is a real potential here, because over at CCO in Coweta County, they simply do not have the elevation to really do an air show. They're about 1,500 feet above ground level, and they get involved in the Hartsville traffic. And Falcon Field has been restricted. They usually have been our air show airport in this area. So there's the potential for us to grab this and become the fall air show for this region in Georgia. So I think that's going to be great. But you have something you're waving at me there.
Just, I'll give you the wrong spelling. It's G-E-B-O-Y. As I understand, that's what I copied down.
Javoy. Okay, Trey. Well, anyway, I thought he did a remarkable job, and I think that's about all I have at this time. Commissioner Hadley.
Had just a couple of things. This Saturday is the 18th annual Harvest Hoedown in Warm Springs. It'll be Saturday only from 10 to 5. There'll be a parade at 11. There's a lot of vendors signed up to be there. There are food vendors as well as goods. So we hope you'll plan to come down there. The weather's supposed to be good. It's supposed to be a little bit cooler, so hopefully it's going to feel a little more like fall. There will be a lot of activities for children, and we have a really nice petting zoo that is supposed to be there, as well as some other activities for children. On the 17th, the Atlanta Concierge Group is going to be coming to Warm Springs to look at the Little White House, anything else that's there that tourists might be interested in. Of course, those are the folks that will send people out from their hotels, give them ideas of where to go. So we're looking forward to that group being there on the 17th. And nobody's mentioned, I know Carolyn's not here, November the 3rd is Meriwether Menu at the Covered Bridge, and tickets are on sale for that. They have added some live entertainment for that as well, so get your tickets. And another thing, there will be live entertainment at the Harvest Hoedown. We got some good groups lined up to be there starting afternoon on Saturday.
This next Wednesday, we're going to try to set up a meeting with the Arts Meriwether Group to talk about county's participation. We've already been working on some repairs to the bridge, and we already secured parking like we did last year. We secured that yesterday, and so the project's coming together.
That's it.
Commissioner Hines.
Just a couple things. most of you know, I'm the representative for the ACCD legislative part. I understand there's a meeting in Chapel. Y'all still want to have?
No.
Canceled it? Oh, wow.
They didn't cancel, we did.
They're under a state of emergency down there. I mean, and they still, of course, they're talking now,
Well, just a couple of things that I want to bring to the board's attention, and hopefully we're, one of the things is the 911 revenue. They put together Georgia Emergency Communication Authority, and their main objective is to collect the revenue that you would normally be getting off your landlines. And because so many people are going to cell phones and get rid of their landlines in their homes, those fees that were normally attached to your land has decreased. And so counties are not getting that fund anymore to help operate their 911 centers. So part of what they're doing is revising how they're collecting these funds and how they can collect these funds off of the cell phones. So one of the things that they asked, and I'm hoping we've already done that, is that we did a 911 resolution. Have we done that?
I think we did that.
We did that?
We did it at the big meeting at the courthouse.
Okay, because the deadline for that is November the 1st in order for you to start getting reimbursement for January of 2019.
Yeah, we had ours in, I believe,
Long as we got it.
August.
Long as we got it, just don't want to miss.
What was the date of the meeting, the big meeting at the courthouse?
It was in August.
Okay, so it was that following Monday
Okay.
that it was turned in.
Well, I just want to make sure we have it, because once again, the stipulations, if you did not have that resolution, you would not get the funding that's due to you. So we don't want to miss any opportunity to get in our funding. Okay, the next thing that they brought up and want us to make sure that we have some discussion on this is short-term rentals. There is a big thing in the state everywhere now where people are renting their homes out for the weekends, advertising it on social media, and the state ordinance or the state code doesn't really regulate that, say in the same direction as they do hotels, but they know that there's a lot of revenue being missed on that.
Is that Airbnb?
Airbnb.
I had sent something to somebody, that Columbus has already instituted something, and I sent it to Susan.
So they're saying that the counties can institute their own, and the cities, and they're encouraging you to have some ordinance to address this, because once again, this is revenue that should be collected, but you have to address it. Right now, it's not addressed on the state level. So once again,
It can end up hurting your hotels and motels and bed and breakfast, because it puts them in direct competition without having the expenses that they do.
right. And so once again, we know it's happening. It's an industry that if you don't get in front of it, just like Uber and Lyft, it changed the dynamics of taxis and how people get. And so it came so fast, and a lot of cities and counties didn't have a way to address Uber and Lyft. I did have someone ask me, did we have one here in Marietta County? I said, I don't know, but who knows? I know
I
they have.
saw where somebody posted the other day that we did. Now, I don't know who's doing it, but they did say that there was available.
Uber service.
Uber, I think it
Okay.
was.
So once again, you have to make sure that you have ordinance or things that would address that. So they're asking us to look at it. So maybe at one of our work sessions, we can look at what that would look like for Marietta County, and do encourage the cities to do the same thing. The next thing that was brought was the mental health summit. Georgia is looking at its mental health because, and I don't have the exact number, but there's, I think they said something like 30% of the people that are in local jails are there because they have mental problems. And just having someone in your jail that has a mental problem, you have to service them on their medical needs. And that expense and their medication is not cheap. So once again, there will be a conference to address this, to address the cost that's coming on the counties and the jails. So once again, we too may want to look at this and see what percentage of the people in our jails are having these issues, and then what is this cost? Because the cost is constantly going up. And so once again, the state realized that it's going to have to address this in some form or fashion. And most of these things still fall back on the county, so much the state. And Brian, if you want to elaborate a little bit on that, since you're in the medical field.
Well, one of the issues is that the state came in several years ago, and I used to work at a psych drug rehab they came in and closed down most of these centers to save money. So these people do not have an actual psychiatrist coming in to look at them and to keep them on a medication regimen that it should be. So what do people do when they can't go in and see somebody? They self-medicate off the street drugs. This is what happens to them. They medicate on these street drugs, they wind up in the jails, then they have a general practitioner, if they're lucky enough, to even look at their medications, to try and dose and diagnose, and they really shouldn't be doing that because they put them on the wrong medications. So we do need something in place, I do believe, and it would cut down on these, the population being in the jails, because they need the correct medications, and they're just having general practitioners look at them and to increase, decrease, add, or what have you to their medications, and they're really just guessing at what should be done, and it's not what should actually be done for these people.
I guess the biggest thing too is if it's 20 or 30% of the people that are in your local jails are there because of those reasons, that is a very big expense on counties and cities. So we may just want to get with the sheriff to see what percentage of that is affecting Marietta County and where we at as a county in comparison. Because once again, those expenses falls back on the county and the taxpayer.
We discussed that I think you and Brian both were out that day when we talked about the mental health court, and the sheriff said he averages about 3 inmates, his population, that are mental health cases, and they're working with pathways right now.
Right.
I believe is what he said.
That's what he said.
So it's not a high percentage for us at this point. That doesn't mean that it won't change, but he said 3 was his average.
They're doing that deferred adjudication,
Yeah.
where the inmate will attend the pathways and you comply with the program, and that's the case.
Okay.
Right, yeah.
Once again, these are just topics that ACCG are, once again, just making sure that we're aware of and that we address them in some form or fashion. Just the other two that I have is, once again, we've, some of us, and I wasn't able to go, went to the T-Squash work session, and they're once again talking about the benefits of the T-Squash. And knowing that our region didn't pass it when it was done on a regional level, they are encouraging counties to look at it as a single county T-Squash. And knowing the work that we need to do here in Marietta County around roads, we may want to look at this next year as see is how can we, and getting those figures that you just gave us on just resurfacing roads. We're going to have to look at other means of paying for it. And my last thing is, ACCG is pushing their student internship. I've brought this up a couple of times. It's a very good program where those who are in college that are studying either accounting, finance, whatever, they have a program where these students can come and do an intern in your county and work on very specific projects. And it's very beneficial, and that the students get an opportunity to do things that they're studying on, but it also gives you an opportunity to have someone to work on a special project that won't cost you anything and get things up. So once again, these are some things I just want to bring to everybody's attention from ACCG. And the other thing is, once again, with breast cancer awareness, St. Paul CME Church had a walk last Saturday. I want to thank the Sheriff Department for blocking off the road. It was a very successful walk. And I understand, I'm not sure who's hosting one in Manchester, but I think there's one in Manchester this weekend as well. So once again, I've had it to personally affect people in my family, so we encourage people to support it in any way that you can. Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Henderson.
I understand we do have need for an executive session for legal, real estate personnel.
Legal, real estate, personnel, okay. Public comment time. Anybody signed up or anybody wish to speak? Okay, I see no motion out there. Since we do have the need for the executive session, let me reach down and pick this up next. Future meetings, October 23rd, 2018, 6 p.m. Regular meeting will be held at the Greenville Middle High School, Middle/High School. Commissioners, don't forget that one.
We'll try not to.
Right up the road here. Yeah.
Past the jail.
Outside the jail, high school.
Do I hear a motion we go into executive session?
So,
Is there a second? All in favor? We're in executive session.